If our people could only see the actual editing that happens, they'd be so excited. Okay. I think that's going to be okay. And I can focus on whatever it is. I've never done like a press event like this. But then this is going to ruin all the pictures people are taking. Do you have a question?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Based on a lot of interviews that I've read, a lot of your quotes sound a lot like your radio scripts. And is that how you think? Is that how you talk? Is that how you organize your life?
Well, I'm trying to write the radio scripts so they sound like the way I talk. So if that's the way it seems when I'm talking, then the illusion is working perfectly. So yeah.
How do you feel about media is changing in every form? I mean, from TV stations cutting back to radio to newspapers. Where do you see radio in all of it? I mean, how do you feel about the future of radio?
I mean, weirdly, like public radio, we ended up in some sort of odd economic no man's land where the business side of it is still totally viable. Listeners are still giving money to their public radio stations, and those stations can turn them over to national shows, and so it's possible for us to run a show with a budget over $1 million by going to member stations, and there's 500 stations pitching in, and we can run like a journalistic outfit. Like our show isn't hurting at all. In fact, like things are fine. We're healthy. We're hiring new people, in a way that friends who are in newspapers and magazines.
How do you feel about that side of it? About the other side, the folks
I mean,
that aren't with public radio?
it's terrible. I don't understand what's taking so long for print journalism to figure out how to make money on the internet. Like I honestly like whenever I read stories about it, we're actually talking about doing a show about this because none of us on our staff totally understand why the New York Times website, which has 30 million visitors, can't somehow monetize that. I mean, I feel like I've heard all the reasons, and yet it just doesn't seem to be making any sense. Like 30 million people coming to get your content seems like that's a business, like that's a pretty good business. But I'm no expert on that. Like I haven't reported enough on that to know enough to even have an opinion. Is the truth.
My last question would be just, you've done TV and radio now.
Yeah.
How do you, would you leave one for the other? Is your love still radio? Did you enjoy doing?
Well, I mean, we have at least for now left TV just to do radio. Right. I mean, we asked to be taken off of television. So our deal with Showtime is that so we're not doing the series now, but the hope is that we will invent something that would be either a special or something that would just be like easier to produce. Like the thing that was taking us so much time was simply finding stories that we thought could work and use the medium of television really well. And what I'd hope is that we could come back and do something where we would find one location and do the entire series, or if it was just 1 or 2 shows or 6 shows out of one location, like a forward operating base or a hospital or a place or something, or a town that was changing, or we just find. I mean, I feel like those are kind of corny examples, but find one location where we could do all the stories, so we wouldn't have the problem we were having of spending just so much staff time and energy finding stories that we thought would have the kind of narrative arc and stakes that we need in the format of our show, and yet be filmable in 5 or 6 days, for TV.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why didn't you start looking in one location to start with? Why didn't you focus in the beginning?
I mean, the reason why we didn't do that in the beginning is because we just thought the TV show would mimic exactly what the radio show does, where you'd go to a bunch of different places and a bunch of different people. We literally didn't have the imagination to understand how hard that would be and how different it would be on television. Like on television, to do one thing kills me, it's bad mic placement. On television, like for us to do the same stories that we would do on radio, like on radio you can just have people come on and tell the story, and they tell stories about things that happened in the past. But on TV you need something to look at, and so it's better if it isn't just a bunch of people telling stories about things that happened in the past. Like you want to be there with the camera rolling while the dramatic moments are happening. And so as we got deeper and deeper into TV, we looked more and more for stuff like that because we felt like let's really use this medium to its fullest. And this is just very hard to find. It's very hard to find a story where something hasn't happened, but it's going to happen next Thursday in a location you can clear, and it's going to be life-changing for the people involved, but it hasn't happened yet. Like that's like you're reporting on the future. Like it's not even reporting. It's like it's some other thing. It's like, and we're like regular journalists, you know, and so you really get an appreciation for why people put extroverts in a house and a set of cameras there on most reality TV. You realize like what an incredibly useful format that is to make dramatic stuff happen in front of a camera, and so anyway, so that's the challenge we're up against. But I mean, I would go back and do TV in a second if we could just think of something that would be great to do. And for now, without TV, honestly, we've been totally doubling down on what we've been doing on the radio. I feel like every 6 weeks we have some show that's some incredibly ambitious show. This week we did this NUMMI show, this history of this car plant that has taken us months. And honestly, like I barely slept this week. Like every morning starting at 6, and then every day it would back up a half an hour. That like my body would wake me up and go like, let's go to work. I'm like, let's go right now. Come on, get up. And so like every day it would back up a half an hour, and I was sort of timing out like if this kept going for like for 11 days, it would happen like right before I went to sleep, like my body. Because the show was so hard. There's so many voices and was such like a sweeping kind of piece of reporting. And then in 2 weeks we have this piece of investigative reporting we're doing with ProPublica, and then I don't know, we did the show where we did the stories, which doesn't sound like it'd be a hard show, the stories that our parents pitched for our 400th show, and we did the show on the party school, the nation's #1 party school, and we did the show where people are predicting what's going to happen in 2010, and we made them predict exactly things that would actually occur. And so it's been a lot of like just very format-breaking kinds of, or just very ambitious things for us to do, and that's been incredibly fun. Like it's been really fun to just be doing radio, actually.
Ira, do you mind coming around just for 1 second?
Yeah.
Just exactly like that. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question too. How does it feel to be?
You're getting in their shot.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's my shot. How do you feel
You're
about
getting in your shot.
about being? How do you feel about being an alternative icon? I mean, how do you feel about being sort of like the alpha male of the beta males?
That question is so much cleverer than any answer I could come up with.
I win. Sorry, guys. See you.
Yeah.
No, really, seriously. I'm curious.
How do I feel? I don't feel anything. It doesn't. I don't feel.
Well, I mean,
it does. It feels like nothing.
Right now by a ton of people. I mean, I think it's an odd thing.
It just feels like I suddenly like really got into a job where that's happening. Like if anything, radio didn't seem like that was where it was going to lead. Like it feels like nothing. Like it doesn't. It isn't like anything happens during my day that announces that I'm the alpha male of the beta males. Like there's no, like I work with a bunch of people who I've known for years, and I'm married to somebody who I've known for 15 years, and like I feel like I'm leading a very unglamorous, kind of normal working life.
We'll get ready to see.
Well, no, except for an event like tonight. Like except like when we do an event like tonight. But it's not like I got. I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm not getting tables in restaurants, and I got bumped off my flight this morning. You know what I mean? Like I literally like got bumped off my own flight, and so my celebrity isn't like carrying a lot of.
Ira.
You know what I mean? Like when you're Brad Pitt, everyone knows you're Brad Pitt, and you never stop being Brad Pitt. Yeah.
I've appreciated those little videos on storytelling
Yeah.
that are so popular on YouTube.
There's little videos which are like somehow the most famous thing I've ever done, bigger than my own radio show. Like people who've never heard of me or public radio or our show have seen those videos. Like I mean, not that I would be Googling myself a lot, but if I ever, when I do, like that's like the first 10 hits usually is, I just saw these videos by this Ira Glass fella on storytelling. I don't know who he is, but he sure has a lot of things to say.
Anything new to say?